Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jake Kerr and I'm from Black Ink. Today I would like to welcome Gage Edgecombe, who is my first official guest of the Black Ink podcast, which I'm not sure if this is actually a podcast, but we're going to fucking try our luck and see how we go. I locked eyes with Gage from across the fucking smokers area when we were in Lost Bills on the weekend, and I immediately realised that this is maybe someone who I should have as my first guest on this podcast stage, I guess. So why don't you let us know how that conversation went?
It started off pretty simply. I was told I got one. And you get one with Jake Kerr, and I know what that one is. It's a pretty strong resemblance he has to Matthew James Blake. It was his birthday at the time. I've pointed it out heaps of times before, and I mean, it was funny the first time. It sort of starts to peter off, but it's nice to be given one, you know?
Yeah, well, this is the thing, like, I feel like the Maddie James Blake thing, and like, man, Maddie, I know you're going to be watching this. It's just the tattoos, the black ink, and the fact that we're always telling everyone what we're fucking doing, you know?
I guess it's kind of hard when you have it's a niche aesthetic that you guys both run.
Very
and
niche.
When you have a similar niche aesthetic to someone else, then it sort of just looks like one is copying the other.
Yeah, and then it's always a battle as to who's copying who, I think.
It's just it's who you meet first.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
If I met you
yeah.
first, I'd be like, you know,
This dude's actually pulling off the fucking Jake thing,
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's just what makes it difficult.
So every time I run into you, I always give you that one. Like, okay, get it out of the way, I get it. I'm the fill in the gap, let's go, you know?
Everybody gets one, bro. I like that, though. I like that you give it to me, because I was gonna give it out regardless.
We're organic shit talkers. It's something that even if I didn't give you one, you would have taken it. So I got to, again, be the first to the party and make sure that I collect what's mine. Come on, give me the shit, you know?
Yeah, let's beat it. But then, yeah, after that, it was just banter, wasn't it? Just a bit of yarn, and then you come forward and said that I'm uncharacteristically apologetic.
No,
unapologetically characteristic, that's my bad. And that's stuck with me for the last couple of days. I've been thinking it over for a while. And I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Classic.
I just find that what I have to say, people listen to. And I think that it's because it's genuine. That's what I have to say.
Interesting. So I think the first thing to consider is like unapologetically characteristic is something that like I've identified, right? And unapologetically characteristic, like when you break down what it is, obviously it's a fun couple of words that when you put them together, it makes like you're saying a little bit more than what you're saying. But if you think about it, you're like, fuck, this actually kind of means that, to me, it means that like you're so busy being you don't have any time to worry about what other people are thinking, what other people are doing, replicating. You know what I mean? You're just so, like, it's not even that you're trying to not pay attention to it, it's that you're so busy doing what you're doing that it doesn't occur to you, you know? And I think that when I realise that there's this sort of person in the world, I ask myself, like, well, who are these people in my life? Because we get so caught up thinking that, like, oh, they're in America, or they're over east in Melbourne, or they're in Sydney, or they're some place cool that I'm not. But the reality is they're a percentage of the population. We are the population, and it's something that I think about myself. And at the same time, like, I know there's other savages out there, and then all of a sudden, like, a few of them automatically register, but then you'll be talking to someone, you have a light bulb moment, you're like, that's one of them.
It's like the reference I made to you the other night. It's the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales and Peter Parker. Like
right.
The first touch, it's like you're like me.
Right, that's right.
And that was the instant connection that you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just identified with it, just based as fuck.
Yeah. I think there's like I've always noticed that like when there's particular people that I register what's going on, like I realise that they have ideas that if I push you for an hour about this idea, you have more answers. And what do you think about this? And what do you think about this? So what that says is you've independently had time of your own, and you've said, and you've thought to yourself, like whether it's listening to music or listening to a podcast, or maybe even your mid-conversation like me sometimes, and you're figuring out some shit that's just on a side burner that someone mentioned or that you've kind of been interested in lately, and you're not doing it for anything but you. You're like, at the end of the day, this is just so I can know this.
Yeah.
You know?
Just genuinely curious for curiosity's sake.
Right.
I've always said I'm curious by nature, it's who I am.
Yeah.
Yep. You leave me alone in a room with drawers, man, I'm going through those drawers.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not to steal.
No, just to know.
So I just want to know, like, what's in there? I can't help myself. But having said that, I'm a massive fan of petty crime. I love stealing, man. If I'm in a bad mood, I go to the shops, get myself a little something, I feel instantly better.
Petty crime's fucking wild, man. It's like there's this like gauge in your head, and it's like unless it's in the red, they're just not happy. You know what I mean? Like pandering to the gearbox is just bullshit, and Petty Crumb is like just in the limit all the time. You know?
Because it's like just enough to get the good feeling, but not enough to like if I do get caught.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know, it's like who gives a fuck? It's like I stole an apple from the farmer's market.
Yeah, man. And like, I even did this at the shops the other day. Like, I'm, you steal the grapes, that's nothing. So now, like, it gets to a point where like, I'll have some of the kids' fruit.
Yeah.
I might have a date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to see if they're all good. And if they're all good, I might even buy 3 or 4 of them. And justify stealing it. Sometimes no.
Well, so you gotta test it. You gotta taste the fruit.
Yeah.
My most dubious lick, bro. Christmas time, I do the Christmas hams. I've done this. This is 2 years running now. I go in and I get the mangoes.
Yeah.
And I take the stickers off the back of the mangoes and I put it on my knuckle here.
Yeah.
And then I go to get the Christmas hams. And I get the most expensive Christmas ham I can find. And I go through because mangoes, they go through quantity instead of weight. So,
yeah.
You scan it. You don't want to scan fucking like 12 kilos of potatoes, man. So I scan just 1 12-kilo mango, and so it's one mango, man. Then it's like I fucking hate them big corporations, bro.
Oh man.
I don't steal from RGA, Independent Growers Association, all the way. I'm all for that. I'll pay full price for that shit. But Coles and Woolies, they can fucking suck it, bro.
It's just such a weird thing, man, because I feel like I'm super stoked as a human living that I can go to this establishment that most of the time is less than 5 k's away, right? And in there they've got everything. They've got batteries, apples, fucking pork legs, they've got sausages of every variety, you know what I mean? They've got toilet rolls, Hot Wheels, everything.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked for that. But why the fuck does a fruit always look good and always taste fucked? You know what I mean? It's like, it's such a massive cost, and it's like all the shit that can last that long just fucks your body. And then as it turns out, these people are more about like capturing your fucking spending habits than they are selling you the actual thing that they're selling you. You know what I mean? It's about your data. And I don't know whether I'm just coming up with reasons to fucking hate them from every angle. But more to the point, like, I'm saying I'm grateful that it exists. But fuck yeah, dude. Like, if I can sneak one past them or half a dozen, like, every time.
Yeah, it's just like a small L for them, but it's a massive win for us as individuals.
It's insane.
It's crazy. Sometimes
I add it to my resume just in the draft. I'll let it wear off and then I'll take it off again, you know?
Well, what about you? Surely you've had a big steal. Christmas ham, that's up there. That's a big cop.
That's
what about
insane.
You?
My biggest steal, I don't know. I feel like in my mind you've got like legal steals and illegal steals.
We're not incriminating ourselves here. Like, let's just talk about like, just like theft from like shops.
Dude, I don't know about my biggest steal. I remember the first time I did steal something though, was when I was like a pup and I was hanging out, dude, like real young. I would have been like 6 or 7, and I was hanging out with these other 6 or 7-year-olds. We went into this like deli or something, and this is in Perth. And I lived in Perth when I was real. I don't even know how old it would have been. We were living in Perth as a point. So they weren't like tight friends, they were just people. You know what I mean? Just like other kids. We went in there and this one kid's like, fuck yeah, see how much we can steal. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Oh, that's bad. You're still young enough to know that that's bad.
Dude, I'm young Catholic, bro. I live with this forever, you know? You're getting some cheap thrills, I'm going to hell, you know? But nah, so we get in there and I'm like, alright, it's what the boys are doing, I guess I'm stealing today. And
at least it's good on you, man,
you know? Yeah, dude, no one else is everyone's gonna be like, how the fuck has he got the blueprint on the black crew? It's because I'm the fucking guy, that's why, you know? That's why Maddie Blake gets one, because he knows the guy. He wants to... You said it. Anyway.
But yeah, as you were.
So, I was the last one out, and the bloke runs out, and he realised that we've all just been packing shit in our pockets and then run out. I remember he's like, you know, all you kids are stealing. And like, the ones who really got into it, obviously they fucked off, professional fucking thieves, you know, their parents taught them, I don't know.
Left you as the scapegoat.
Yeah, like, oh, leave the fucking Catholic kid, he'll be right. He'll just start crying, it'll be fine.
Repent that motherfucker.
Dude, so I held my own butt. I didn't say shit. I was like, I don't know what happened, you know, I'm all good. Literally just got around the corner and put all the shit out of my pockets and started eating it and that. And then I remember we got back to the kid's house, and like the kid who instigated it, I was like hanging out with him, and the other kids were like his mates or something like that. So, you know, not my mates directly. They all fucked off. We're back at his place, and he stole some cool lolly with the toy on top.
Oh yeah.
I fucking stole it off him, bro.
Oh.
So I had all my shit. And then I stole this thing of him because I'm like, that thing's fucking cool. It might have like a spider or a car or something.
I remember him, but like the big flashy fucking...
Yeah. And it's like, if you're going to steal anything, steal that.
Yeah, steal something.
You know what I mean? Steal Milky Way, bro. They're fucking 45 cents, you know? So I've stolen that off him, and I remember he started like crying about it before I even left, and then like sent me home with his mum telling my mum like, oh, can you keep an eye out for this thing? Like, he's really upset he's lost it. It's like, bitch, you just fucking stole that.
Yeah.
You know, like, where do you think you got that from? So what the
Can't
fuck?
hold sentimental value to stolen things, man.
Dude, you've had it like fucking 45 minutes.
It's easy come, easy go and shit like that. You know?
That's including the time that I've had it stolen.
Just go down to the shop and get another one.
Well, literally, it's near your house.
Yeah.
Man, that's fucking get upset on principle. I love shit like that, though. I love that he was about that much at that age.
What do you reckon he's doing now?
Oh, man. His second stint, probably? I don't know.
You never know.
Nah, he'd be, for sure. What would he be doing? Think about it. Nah, he's like packing meat or something somewhere.
You reckon?
Yeah, non-metaphorically.
Yeah. Well, it's either that or like car salesman, just used to ripping people off.
Oh, dude, just fucking... You can just see this cunt at 7:30 in the morning with a dart on the go, flicking his tie over his shoulder as he's taking a piss in the pot plant. You know what I mean? And I told the cunt.
Another day at the office, and I said to the single mum, 10 grand or fuck off.
Here's a bloke he hands you his business card and like the last 2 numbers of the phone number's been changed to something by a pen. You know what I mean?
Dodgy.
Oh shit. But no, I had this thought, like, I don't have it. Mum borrowed. Oh yeah, I put a skateboard there. My mum borrowed this book called Sapiens, and it's like a brief history of humanity. So it gives you like an idea of like, you know, how humans have kind of operated themselves to get to a point where we've evolved to this. And like, the whole time I was reading it, it like explains how we got there, but it doesn't really talk about whether or not things have been the right way. You know what I mean? Like, he explains like there was a fork in the road here and humans did this. There was a fork in the road, humans did that. And I've always wondered, well, what if we were never meant to come to that fork in the road? Or what if we took the right instead of the left?
Yeah.
And you know, like, from the dawn of time, there was always all of the molecules of atoms of things, whatever, required to build what we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was just us getting to a point of navigating our own, you know, brain so that we can figure out ways to get better and better and evolve and build these things. But I wonder, were we ever meant to build them? Just because we can and we have doesn't mean we're meant to.
Yeah. Well, like, you can look at that as like, you look at like to like one extreme, like look at the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, look at fidget spinners. It's like, well, we really meant to have either of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Definitely not the nuclear bomb, you know?
The fidget spinners, man, like... The thing about that is when they first fired up, I was like, just another dumb fad. Everyone's about fidget spinners this and fidget spinners that. And then you buy one. And you're like, this is sick.
Were you big in yo-yos at school?
Nah, man. I wasn't big on much. Like, I come from poverty, you know what I mean? Like, so I didn't have much as a kid. I had 2 older sisters, so like most of the stuff that I was into, like Lizzie McGuire, Powerpuff Girls, like
standard.
Like robbed of a childhood, man. I didn't watch Dragon Ball. I've only just got into Yu-Gi-Oh! The last couple of years. Like, I didn't have much toys, bro. Which is
you would have been on that Saddle Club shit as well.
Hello world.
What's up?
This is me. Yeah, I was all about that shit.
Man, that's a fucking...
So...
That's a vibe, actually. Saddle Club, like, I actually fuck with it.
No, the first generation was good, then they remade it with a bunch of new bitches.
Nah,
not for me, bro. Not for me.
That was weird. I remember, like, not being attracted to those chicks, but being like, I'd hang around with them. As like a 10-year-old, I was like, you know what? I could be friends with them, you know?
I'd like to anyway.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I'm not into horses.
No, I'm not into horse chicks either.
No.
That's a big red flag.
Man, that was like
huge.
one of the first lessons I learned as a young man.
Well, because I grew up in Glen Iris, we there was like the established part of Glen Iris near like the Picton Primary School and stuff like that. And over back towards the what direction's that? That'd be west side. That they've recently built that up over.
There's
like a new playground over there, and then behind there there's like a bit of industrial area, and there's a couple of paddocks and stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, we used to go out and venture when we were kids because that's all we really had to do, ride the scooters around and shit. And we found a paddock with horses, and there's 2 horses in this paddock.
Yeah.
So like they were there, like there was no one there to care for them, so we just assumed that they were these abandoned horses in this paddock.
Yeah.
And so we like adopted these horses. We used to go there like every day after school, and we'd feed them, and we'd like try and jump on their backs and all that sort of stuff. Which like when you're a kid, you're like, oh, like, we have horses now. We own horses.
Yeah.
And there was this one weekend where we went there, and the owner come down, and she's like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Oh, we're just hanging out with these horses." And she's like, "Well, that one's blind, and that one's got a bad back. So, so like, you know, like don't be riding them."
Yeah.
Oh, no, we won't. And we're like, fuck that fucking bitch for telling us that we can't ride our own fucking horses. These are our fucking horses.
horses.
Yeah, stupid mole. And yeah, that was crazy. Like, I'm surprised I never ever got kicked, man.
Yeah.
I never got on the back of. I was too scared. I was a little bitch as a kid, man. I was tiny, fat as fuck. I didn't have eyebrows until I was like 11 years old.
Awesome.
I used to shave my head. Man, I used to get bullied so hard. The Aboriginals at the school used to follow me home, throw rocks at me, and call me brain damage. It's like, and I tell that story now, and it's fucking hilarious.
Brain damage.
Brain damage. That's a good fucking name, man. Like,
that's a fucking wild nickname.
Most of the people I've told that to, like, man, like, I just wish I had thought of that growing up. It's like,
Dude, brain damage.
Yeah, proper. Like,
Dude,
like,
someone says brain damage is coming to fucking bash.
Yeah. But
you said that big cunt who's a short, fat cunt with no eyebrows.
Yeah, like I look like stage 3 cancer patient, but still had all the weight on me, you know?
Yeah.
No, it was a fucking rough childhood.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Not bad. Like, because I had eczema on my eyebrows, so all the hairs used to just fall out.
Right.
So I had a fucking rough upbringing, man. Like, I thought earrings were cool, so I pierced my ear. I used to have a sleeper with a bead on it and shit.
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
Unapologetically characteristic.
Oh, not back then, bro. I think that sort of shaped me.
No, but you know what this is? Like, it was funny because I like, obviously, making an agreement to do what we're doing in the state that we're in. You have like a brief period of remorse where you're like, okay, I gotta fucking, was it a smart idea to have a podcast? You know, making any idea under the influence of drugs and alcohol to do with my business is a fucking bad idea.
Because the thing when you said like we should do a podcast, I was under the impression that you were like, you know, when you have a couple of beers with your mates and they're like, man, like, oh, bro, like, we're just a businessman. Like,
oh yeah,
we should do this and that. And I was like, oh, this cunt's just like, he's just like talking shit. He's like, I'll let him wheel, I'll let him spin. And I'm like, yeah, oh man, that'd be sick.
Of course.
And you're like, yeah, so like Monday, Tuesday, like when you're free, like come over. And I was like, oh, this cunt's serious.
Yeah, dude. And I think, well, I can talk about that for a second. Let me fucking. So in this situation, I'm like, now I've got to do, because this is the thing, like once I've said it, and like especially the booking in a day and a time, that's when it turns into like, you got to do it.
Once you manifest something, man, you have to commit.
Yeah, when we've already built what it looks like in our mind, so we've got to like now create it into reality. So I thought, all right, first things first, I've jumped on your account and I like saw that that picture of you as a young bloke.
Oh, so you've seen it, no eyebrows and...
Oh, and just the fucking puffy face and like the way you're looking at the camera as well. I was like, oh, that was me as a kid.
Yeah?
Fuck yeah, dude. I was just a little weird, fat, bald kid that shaved his head all the time. And like, we moved from place to place to place. So I had no like locked identity. Like, we were always moving. I was always making new friends. It was all around the Northwest. So like, my ability to fucking just fit in looking like a weird cunt it's like already in me. It's organic. You know what I mean? And when I saw that, I was like, man, that reminds me of standing in a white beater, standing out the front of my fucking XR80 with the helmet on, just like waiting for someone to take the photo so I could go ride me motorbike with shorts on as a fucking 10-year-old. You know what I mean? Like,
just hard out.
Yeah, dude, just like, again, just doing what you're doing. Like, don't worry about what's in the way, let's just go. You know? And I think that when I look back at myself now, and I'm like, that poor fucking weird kid. You know? But now I like look at what... And like, I've sounded a bit fucking cocky, I don't care. Like, now look at what I'm producing, what I'm creating with my business, what you can see here sort of thing. And I'm like, it took being that cunt to be this cunt.
It was character, eh?
Dude.
It does, doesn't it?
Dude, how many people have stood up in front of a classroom or a shopping centre or you know, wherever it is where you're doing something where you're like, I'm not quite sure about this, but I'm doing it anyway.
Head first, eyes closed, can't lose.
Yeah, dude.
Mentality, man. I'll just go for it, you know what I mean?
It's just and like, man, I feel like, again, the percentage of however many people it is whatever it is. I think it's fairly low. But if you realise this and start to actualise it as a fact, you got to ask, like, is there a way that you can establish this in a young person? You know, or is this something that just comes from within?
I think about that, like, obviously, when it comes to having kids and shit like that, you know, like, so my sister has a niece, she's 5 years old now, Harper, and like, I like the kid. You know, and like makes me think about having my own kids eventually one day. Like, yeah. I reckon 28 to 32. That's the window for having kids. Like, in my opinion, everybody's different, but I think that's bang on. That's sick. You reckon?
Yeah.
Just enough time to get yourself set up, but not so like that you can't still do stuff with the kids.
Yeah, and like, you got to think about when they're 18. You don't want to be 100, but you don't want to be 30.
My dad had kids young. First one, Caitlin. He would have been like 19, 20-ish. We'll say that. He had his last kid last year. Like, so he's 5 kids because obviously him and mum split up. With those 3 kids, I turned 18, him and a new bird like 10 years younger, which fucking go dad, absolutely slain.
That's nuts.
She wanted kids, he had the vasectomy, so she's doing IVF, they keep falling out.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny actually. One time there was one.
Fell out at the shopping centre.
No, I didn't like. She had one, and then like I caught wind of it, and they came down that weekend because I live up in Perth now, and she was drinking red wine, and it didn't really click, like to me that obviously something had happened, you know. And, because it fell out. She would have spent like 150 grand on IVF, man, like crazy money, and didn't click that until a few days later when they'd already gone back up that she was drinking, so obviously it all went south. So I texted Dad, and I was like, couldn't help but realise that Mrs. was on the wines this weekend, hey? It's like, kind of highlights the irony around all the time she called me a useless cunt, haha. But it's come out that she had this one kid, Donna egg, Donna sperm, like cocktail in the petri dish, like let's go. Yeah. Archer, he come out and she wanted another one, so the second one's come out last year. My dad's, he'll be like 73 or some shit when his kid's 18.
Whoa, yeah.
And it's like, and that's the trap, I think, as well. And that's why 28 to 32 for me is a perfect window, because like, if you get stuck in it young, that's all well and good if you found your forever person and you're done with having kids late. But what if something happens and then you get into another relationship and they want more kids and then you're stuck being a dad? Like, some people live to be parents, man, but you don't want to, for your entire life, to be a father.
Yeah.
Or a parent, just in general.
Well, yeah, it's a fucking awesome topic, and I've talked about it at length on multiple podcasts. But I had a vasectomy 6 years ago. I'm 29 years old. I turned 30 in 5 months' time. And, like, obviously...
Wasn't your birthday just last week, but?
No, that was Maddie Blake. That was your one for the podcast.
Everybody gets one, boys.
But that, and I'm in a place now where, like, real recently, in all the time that I've been paying attention as an adult, just recently, in the past 6 months, I'm like, I start to understand why having a kid would be valuable. I understand now why... Like, I'm starting to realise enough about myself, which in that I know nothing about myself, but I'm starting to realise that in a deeper fashion. Now I can start to actually have some real information that I can hand on to the next version. Because before, I was shooting pistols in the dark, having fun, you know what I mean? Like, just doing whatever, wearing a clown suit, and now it's like, okay, I start to get what this is all about. I have a deeper and deeper and deeper bond with, like, my partner, and, like, even the experience of, like, living in a caravan, getting a dog, like having these different sorts of responsibilities. Now I'm like, I start to appreciate what building a home is, and I know what the value in a good partnership is and all these things. And then you start to tie that with, the final part of this puzzle is having a kid. Now what's the point of doing all that when I'm still figuring out what's going on as a 22-year-old?
Exactly, and that loops back to what I was saying before the tangent is like, once you get, like, after you've done all that, you live your 20s, man, and then that's like, it's not it, but like that's when things start to get boring. That's when people ask you how you're doing, and it's the same answer. Like, you're probably a little bit different. Like, you have a business and you live this pretty exciting, extravagant kind of lifestyle.
I'm an anomaly.
Well, yeah, and rather than an enigma, rather than a question and a riddle.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But and like, the riddles are all on the t-shirts, just in case you're wondering.
But like, that's when it's like, what else do I have to give? Because I have to work this job to pay this mortgage for this house that I built for this person that I love. Like, what can I, like, that's when you have a kid. Like, you have that's when you have a kid.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
When you like, you don't like live through them, but like you experience what they experience, and like that's how you that's where you get your information from. That's where you like live your life. Like you find a thing that your kid's passionate about, and then you help them achieve the goals that they set for themselves. And that's sort of where living after 30, in my opinion, living after 30 is raising a family, like raising a kid, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
There's so many variables. I think so the first thing that comes to mind is, like you said, there's that formula. You find the person, buy the house, get the job, form the routine, and then you get that on repeat, and then you launch into having a kid. And I think my initial question for everyone, for society in general, is like, is that formula correct?
Well, it's obviously, like you said, variables.
Yeah.
So it's more like an overarching sort of like idea that's sort of like the thing that you fall into.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I've owned a house. I've been in fucking heaps of debt. I've had 100 cars and motorbikes and all this shit, and I've been in that revolution. And through luck and a little bit of good business, I got myself out of it. And I've stayed out of debt at any cost since then. And since then, where I've like bootstrapped fucking black ink from making one shirt at a time to making a release of my most recent was 380 pieces, like everything has been on money that I've had, and it's allowed me to say, like, right, if I keep doing what I'm doing, the numbers get bigger in how much I'm making, and I'll get to a point where I'll still have to borrow money to buy a house, I know that, but I'll be able to have a good amount up front. That's just my money. I can do what I want. And then I look at obviously mine is an extreme example in a way, but like I'm a truck driver by trade. I left school in year 10. You know, I was a professional speed skater for most of my like teenage years as an adult. You know what I mean? Like I'm not coming in with any specialized information.
Yeah.
I did all of this through YouTube and just hanging out, and I think not just hanging out, through just waking up early and getting the shit done. But to the point, like, I've really made created this different way of looking at life and going like, right, through that I've wanted to, you know, build this other life with a family and maybe with a kid, But in another way, like, I just look at people who give me this answer of like, oh, I'm stuck in this way, I may as well have a kid now, I may as well get this done, and it's just like, man, you're not questioning the right things if we're just finishing the sentence with may as well have a kid.
Yeah, it's more of an obligation than it is like it should be emotion, but it's not an obligatory emotion. Like, because like if you try, like you said, you can't base this example off of your own life. You couldn't base it off of my life either. You can't base it off of any one individual in particular because like everybody's different, right? So it's sort of just like a widespread, like everyone's different. There's exceptions everywhere, but it just sort of feels like the overarching what the emotions are. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think there's definitely the cool part about where we're living right now is, like, an example I used to give, like, probably up until 3 years ago, is it's unbelievable that if you work a normal job, right now you can make a plan to go anywhere in the world in 6 weeks' time and make it happen. Anywhere. You can afford the tickets, you can get the visa most probably, you can take the time off work and still have a job to come back to, you can pay ahead on your rent, you can pay ahead on your regos and insurances, and you can just go there. And that's a reality. In 2019, up until then, that was a fucking hardcore reality. And that is a metaphor for me of the freedom you can experience as a citizen of the modern day. And like, while things are a little bit different post-COVID, in general, what can't you do?
Now I feel like it's not just, before it was cancelling COVID, and now it's just living with COVID. And it makes it like, that's made it like living so much smoother. You know what I mean? Like this whole isolating bullshit and stuff. Like I went on a holiday to Rome earlier this year and I got COVID the fucking second night I was there. And it was just living with COVID, man. I come back and now I've had it. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, it's just it's an interesting experience being a young person in 2022 because I feel like everyone has this predestined idea of what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. You're going to meet some dude at Fitzy's, you're going to fall in love, he's going to fucking get you pregnant, he's going to buy you a house sort of thing. And it's like, man, none of that, just because it's happening all the time, none of that has to be accurate.
Shouldn't have to happen to you.
No.
Dare to be different.
Yeah, man. And I think that's where a lot of this fucking unapologetically charismatic comes into it, you know?
Well, I feel like because I work with a massive like slew of people, probably like 150 different blokes.
The audio on this is going to be insane.
Such a massive array of blokes, and the age range is huge now anyway. Like when I first started up there, I was 19. I was the youngest bloke by 2 or 3 years, and the next oldest, they were in their 30s. You know what I mean? Like it was just a job that just for older people. But now, as I'm getting older and more young people are getting hired, like I feel more younger people around me, and they're at a point now where they're talking about like Mrs. She wants babies and she wants this and that, and like I've got to pay for this. And the best thing about working night shift is that you get a fella to 2 o'clock in the morning and you ask him a question, he will answer it.
Yeah, and honestly.
And that's what, and that's like, because the situation that most people have living a 9 to 5, like a Monday to Friday sort of lifestyle, is those sort of opportunities they get those twice a week, Friday night and Saturday night. And if you don't choose to have these conversations with people or interact with these people, then you never have these conversations.
Yeah.
So when I'm on nights all the time, I get it, like, we sit in a unit, like, someone's the last time you fucked your wife.
Yeah,
and they'll fucking tell me.
It's crazy.
And I love it, man. And so now I see all these people's opinions and I tell them what I think, and they're like, that's actually a really interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, but I mean, just having conversation to begin with is a fucking alien thing now, you know?
I just like, when I started up there, and this was a really bad mindset that I had for a long time, which was, I have enough friends, I'm not here to meet people. I was there for 18 months, man, and I couldn't tell you 3 fun facts about anyone that I worked with. Yeah. And now I start with a new fella, and I ask them the big questions, man. Yeah. And it's like, if you tell them something personal, in turn, they'll tell you something personal. Yeah. And it's like, that's how you build friendships. And then, like, I feel like when someone offers you something, like, I don't smoke, unless I'm on the piss, like, that's an obvious exception, but if I'm interacting with someone new and I feel like I have the ability to like them and I want them to like me back, and I feel like there could be like a good friendship here, and they offer me a smoke, which is the easiest thing to offer someone, especially I'll say yes, because subconsciously, if you offer me something and I say yes, we will become friends. Like,
we're broken bread together,
basically, yeah.
That's such a fucking interesting thing. You know, like I'm very hesitant with smoking tobacco. Same thing as you, like smoking when I want to piss and like when there's a reason to. And I think that like I will put myself in a situation where if you're smoking a cigarette and there is that value that you're talking about, I'll go and ask you for one and smoke it with you.
Yeah.
You know, it's such an interesting thing, that bond that just that offering and accepting. You know? And even sitting down and drinking a coffee with someone, or making a coffee and just starting it with them, like that is a bond.
So I don't even drink coffee, but if there's nothing else to drink, I'll have a coffee.
Yeah, fucking oath.
And it's just, but I use it as an expression as well. That's what really that's one thing that really bores my piss. You know, like it's let's catch up for a beer, and they'll be like, oh, like, I only drink whiskey, or like, oh, I don't drink. And it's the same as like, come over for a coffee. When someone's like, hey man, you should come over for a coffee, I'm like, oh, I don't drink coffee. Yeah. I'm like, okay, because it's not. It's like it's an expression. Like, like you come over, I offer you a coffee, and you have a tea. Like, you fucking serious, bro? I offered you a coffee. You can have a coffee.
Yeah, it's more the invitation than anything.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's giving it out and then receiving it.
Yeah,
exactly the same. It's like, just because I don't know, because it's like, say you like, I'm not gonna be like, man, let's go for a coffee, not let's go for a fucking soy macchiato. With
exactly right. I think also though, it's like these are methods of communication that we're talking about. I really like fucking honing in on communication, because it's like something we all do, and I think everyone just takes for granted.
Mm-hmm.
But like that whole thing of like, oh hey man, you want to go for coffee, and you're like, oh I don't really fucking, I'm actually lactose intolerant. That conversation we were having was a transaction. It was an invitation and an acceptance or denying.
Yeah. When
someone says that, when someone responds with that, I've given you an invitation and then you've told me information about yourself. Like, that doesn't... What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, what model car do you drive? I don't care. You know
it's
what I
like,
mean?
we're in the shops, like, that'll be like $63, and you're like, oh, you know, like, I'm 19, Gemini.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's not... You've gone the wrong way. You've interpreted our communication.
Yeah. And and the crazy part is how people do anything is how people do everything. You know what I mean? And like, I've been experiencing this with business lately. I fucking love to talk about that for 2 hours, what's just been going on. But that there tells me that we're not going to hang out.
Yeah.
That tells me how you communicate.
Well, I don't want to hang out.
Yeah. That tells me how you value the conversation. You tell me that it's 70-30 and 70% is you.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm talking, you're waiting for your turn to speak. I know that.
Why can't you just listen instead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't you just fucking say yes? You know?
Well, even if you have no intentions of doing it, just say yes, and then just, you know what I mean?
Exactly, like when I brought out this fucking podcast the other night.
Yeah.
For the sake of like offering something on the piss is still an offer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's just whether or not you followed up or not.
Man.
If you hadn't have followed me up, I would have like there would have been like, oh man, like I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah, but that also tells you something about my character as well.
Well, yeah, that's why I have to, like, when I say things on the piss or not, like, I have to.
Yeah.
I make sure that I try at least to commit to what I've said.
Bro, my fucking notes when I get home, because every time I have one of those conversations, it's something real. Like, I had half a dozen things I had to follow up from the other night. It's fucking crazy. And like, people ordering shit, people saying like, oh, message me, I gotta come pick this up. Like, everything has to be on the list, and that way you know. And this is the thing, you want to go into like the depths of how much value you can offer a customer. Making something cool and selling them something is reasonably hard, but it's doable. Most people can do that. When someone has the narrative or the story that like, oh yeah, I bought this thing off this person, there was a bit of a rough, like for whatever reason didn't get delivered or didn't get posted, and then I ran into him in town, and then 3 days later he came to my house and delivered it. Bro, they're definitely going to buy something off you again.
It's like a Cinderella story, hey?
They're going to tell 10 people about it.
Yeah, it was like rough start and then hand delivered himself.
Man, if someone brings up Black Ink, they've got a story.
It's like Castaway, bro. You're Tom Hanks.
I am Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Yeah. You and Wilson.
Yeah. But yeah, fuck man. I just kind of talking about what I was talking about before. With like I've had some really interesting like transactions with clients where I've been like kind of privy to how they're going to do business before getting into business with them, and like dealing with numbers that I've never really dealt with before. Like I was about to step into something that was quite big compared to what I've ever been, involved with ever. And not even the 11th hour, we're not like right there or anything, but I just kind of got some information they already had, and I was like, I can't do this. These guys don't treat me how I want to be treated in business, sort of thing. I sent that email and dealt with it. And then I had this other job pop up where I'm kind of halfway through doing a job that I'm more fluent in them, that I understand. And I realized right at the start, they're going to fuck me around. And I immediately, like, recognised it, and I fucking pulled the cord. And I emailed the customer, I'm like, come get all your shit, take your money, I don't want to be involved with this. And the actual happenings, you know, like, the physical operations of it isn't, like, the thing that I'm talking about. It's becoming the person who, like, I've gone from any job you've got for me, 1 shirt, 100 shirts, 1,000,000 shirts, I'll fucking do it, I'll figure it out, to now, like, if the job doesn't suit me, I don't do it.
Well, you can sort of pick and choose. You've got like a good name for yourself. You've got a good standing and stuff here.
That, as well as like each one of my jobs still pays my bills. I'm not stacking money anywhere. Like I need every single dollar that I make, and I need to make more money.
Yeah.
But like being able to value exactly your energy output and what that's worth to you emotionally and physically, and like, you know, knowing that it's in my house and it's like it requires my bandwidth, and seeing red flags and acting on them. You know, most people don't even act on red flags that are obvious in their fucking young relationships, and they end up marrying the person and having kids with them.
I'm just knocking them up anyway.
Yeah, bro. Just to fucking, like, fixing the problem by having a kid is the most bizarre theory.
Don't even buy a dog. You know what I mean? Like,
nah, bro.
Just get out.
Cut your losses and go.
Get out.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, dude. We live in a weird time. Have you been to the new Bunbury skatepark?
No, but it looks sick.
It's so big.
Massive. Like, almost, like, it doesn't suit Bunbury big.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
It was funny. I was talking to someone yesterday. I was talking to a 50-something-year-old, and he goes, what's this going to do for Bunbury? People are going to come from everywhere to see that. And while they're here, they go to fucking Townhouse. They buy coffee.
Well, it's right there in town, too. So.
Dude, they'll go everywhere. Everyone who stays in those fucking apartments, they're going to go over, migrate into town. Like, this is so good for the main street of town. And on top of that, like, the culture that it brings to Bunbury.
Absolutely, because I remember talking to like mates' dads that were around the old vibrations.
Yeah.
This is a tall tale that he's told me. I feel like it's true. There's no reason to lie.
Yeah.
So there's vibrations in town near the Civic there next to Nando's. It used to be a massive indoor skate park with huge big plywood half pipes and shit like that. And he's like, this used to be sick. We used to shred this and shred that, and then like now you look at we have wallet jumps, which is just like a community built. Of, you know, and then there's the Glenara skate park, and then there's a skate park in town as well. And that's it. Like, I mean, if you want to, like, just figure out what you want to do, Bunbury. Like, what do you want to be? Yeah. What kind of crowd do you want to bring? Because if you don't pick one and commit to it, then you're just going to lose all the traffic altogether, man.
Yeah, I think so. There's a certain amount of tourist traffic we're going to get, and this is two idiots talking who have no idea what they're talking about. Like, I think we can both admit that.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I just have opinions.
Yeah, I'm just wearing a matching tracksuit at fucking 2:00 on a Tuesday.
And Crocs.
So, I think an interesting part of this is two things. Bunbury is awesome compared to what it was when I moved here.
When did you move here, sorry?
When I was 10, so 19 years ago.
Okay.
So, Bunbury obviously has, like, a crazy amount more public accessibility. It's got heaps of, like, things that you can tell people about. We've got the Dolphin Discovery Centre.
Which is great now, too.
Yeah, unreal.
The museum, the turtles and shit.
There's, like, for more than one reason, it's a great place.
Yeah.
And obviously there's like, everyone is expanding everything. Like I don't know what the situation is right now. I know earlier this year you can't get a hotel room on a Saturday night. Like I remember leaving Fitzy's and for the sake of not wanting to fucking have to go to my house, booking a room at the Lord Forest and walking to it, and it's like, yeah, sure, just come over. Now if you want to book it like midday on a Saturday, it can't happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think like as far as like servicing that need, obviously there's people staying here, there's people doing things that's really cool. I think one thing that people forget about Bunbury, and especially our age, is that cool shit requires cool people.
Yeah.
Like that's really fucking important.
Yeah.
Because I've been here for 19 years and I've known heaps of cool people, and you know what they do once they realise they're cool?
Leave.
They fuck off.
They fucking dip, man. They go to Perth, they fucking move to Melbourne, they go anywhere else but here.
Dude, they go spend 6 months in fucking Italy and end up living in Melbourne.
With the same, they all have the same idea, like, oh, fuck Bunbury. I fucking love it here, man.
Dude, my kid will be brought up in Bunbury.
623, baby.
Man.
It's like, I don't know why everyone's like, what's wrong with Bunbury? And the same answer every time, oh, it's the people. Just like, associate with different people.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, everyone sees the like-minded people that live in Melbourne, in like this over the States, like over in Europe. But no one stops to try and hunt them out here. It's like, if they're not falling in my lap, then I'm just going to fuck off because I assume that they're somewhere else.
That's right. And I think a lot of that also comes to, like, I had that realization where, like, well, I'm unapologetically charismatic. There must be other motherfuckers in this town that are the same. And the truth is, there's actually heaps of them.
Tons, man.
There's so many of them that I actually got to be really careful as to which one. And like, trust me, there are two that come to mind that I'm not going to bring up on camera that are fucking so unapologetically charismatic, but I just can't be friends with them.
Just not for you.
No, we just don't mesh, you know?
Well, that's what it is, though, isn't it?
And that's cool. But that says to me, okay, I've got something going on. And I don't know whether it's just like a flame of some sort of passion for creating or, you know, having events or being around people. I don't know what it is. But I don't have any interest taking it anywhere else. I'd rather see how big it can get in Bunbury, and if it's that fucking big I gotta take it somewhere else, we'll worry about that fucking later on.
Yeah.
You know? But like, while, like, I've got a little group around me at the moment of like DJs, content creators, photographers, videographers that, like, I want to keep them as close to Bunbury as possible. We need people like that in Bunbury, because that's
everyone
the view.
fucks off, and then, like, what do we have left?
What do we have?
Nothing.
We have the next range of young cunts.
Yeah, and as like it's a double-edged sword there as well, because like when someone's like, oh, you know, like one of my good friends, Pez, is moving to Broome, and like as much as I'm happy for him to go, like I'm gonna miss him, because I'm not gonna fucking move to Broome.
Yeah.
Like my house is here, my career, like my job's here, my career's here. Like I'm like not cemented here, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. It's by choice.
Yeah, and obviously he's not, and so like good on him for leaving. Like so I can't like make someone feel guilty for abandoning the career. But at the same time, it sucks because like there's so much potential here in Bunbury where we live. People just look straight past it because they have their eyes set on like bigger goals that are just the same thing in a busier place.
Yeah, and you know, the most standard story of like most narratives and things that we watch on TV is usually the story of someone having some sort of difficulty or adversity that they've got where they're at, and they have to travel somewhere and have this big journey, but they end up straight back where they started and realizing that the conflict is always within themselves.
Yeah.
And that's accurate. That's accurate because humans need narratives to live, and most of the time that's a narrative that we experience throughout our life. You know, we start in this one place with our family and close-knit group of friends and everything's all good, and we have to revolt and break out of it and go experience all these other things and fuck weird people and do weird drugs and eat different foods and smell different smells, and we come back and then we realise that family and close friends and meals together is actually where it's at.
Yeah.
But most people don't have that under their belt by the age of 18.
Well, yeah, you're right. So it's sort of like good to go out there and experience the world and then decide that they want to come back anyway and come back organically.
Yeah.
It's a pretty common thing. They'll move away and they'll come back for a weekend and then they're back for another weekend and then they're like, fucking, I'll come back.
Yeah.
So this place was never as bad as you thought it was.
No. And driving down Ocean Drive on a summer's night is never going to be as good as what it is, you know? It's fucking unreal. And dude, like, we've got, like, you think about how pretty Bunbury is, man. Like, people talk down Bunbury, like, most mornings you can't go for a drive without seeing a fucking dolphin, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what don't you like?
Yeah, it's like any point you are in Bunbury at any given time, you're no more than a 10-minute drive from the beach.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's something that I take for granted as well. And I thought, like, when I was thinking about moving away and doing something different, like just leaving, just getting out, I was like, oh man, like I don't think that I could live somewhere that wasn't close to the beach.
Yeah.
You know, I bought a house in fucking 10 minutes from the beach, man. I would have been like 3 fucking times in the last year. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't need to live near the beach, but it's something that, like, in my mindset, because it's such a massive self at Bunbury, that the beach is always there.
Yeah, it's like that knowing, hey. Yeah, Bunbury's got it. Yeah, it's just a weird spell, man.
We got it all, bro. Fuck Perth. 63 forever. I can't talk this place up enough. And the more I hear people talk it down, the more it like encourages me to try and motivate. I'm like, why? Like, why, man? Like,
dude, for everything we don't have, be the person who creates the thing, you know? And like, I see shit like, I know some plans that are going ahead in Bunbury by the end of the year that like, they're perfectly creating Bunbury to be the next big thing. You know, we're in line to get some very cool franchises move in. We're in line to get cool new city-based developments. This skate park, I mean, it's got a fucking parkour section.
Yeah, that's sick.
Just a parkour section is unbelievable.
It's just like revolutionary. It's like just new age, you know, like.
Dude, there's two places in this town that you could publicly do chin-ups. One of them's in Austin and one of them's in Dayula.
Well, they have the boardwalk behind the skatepark. They have all those exercise machines, one every like 500 meters or so.
Yeah,
like the real weird body weight cuts.
Yeah, but even then, like, why would you put them every 500 meters apart?
Yeah, put like one big gym in the middle.
Yeah, dude.
That's our gym.
And this is a thing, like, that sort of thing, like, kids go to playgrounds. When you think of, like, everything to do with... And obviously, like, the shit we're talking about, it takes years to develop and actually execute anyway. But for the purpose of the conversation, like, in the times of COVID, and with, like, with the way that we digest information about physical health anyway, I'm pretty confident if you put an adult-sized playground with chin-up bars and monkey bars and all the rest and like all those machines and shit and made it a cordon section that was all in sand, people would show up and use it every day. Every fucking day.
Well, it's a miracle that they didn't pop one like just a couple of bars down at Cabana Bay when they redid that.
Yeah.
So they've done a really good job at that place. Like from a place that was like if you want to catch no waves and maybe get bitten by a crab, go to Cabana.
Yeah.
Places like yeah, we've got live music down there every now and again.
Yeah.
Like it's a nice. They got that fox swing and the playground's good for the kids and there's barbecues and there's that big the statue. Like I'm pretty sure it's the dude. Oh no, it's Lord Forrest or whatever he is.
No, I don't.
Isn't it?
No.
It's the dude on the back of the Thriller coin. It's fucking something. It's cool. Anyway, like
it's a sculpture.
It's nice, bro. It's nice. It's something to look at. It turns it into an attraction, and it talks about train lines connecting all the way up to the Perth.
Yeah,
that'd be really good. I'm pro that.
Oh, dude, look how this conversation turned into what we can do for Bunbury to make it a more tourist approachable place is hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. But nah, as far as like, you know. I was living in Mandurah when they built and opened the skate park there, and what that did, like, this is crazy. When they built that skate park, which is probably half the size of what Bunbury is, like as far as like mass goes, I know Bunbury has the fucking putt golf course, it's got a basketball court, it's got the parkour sections. Obviously, it's got more going on, but the Mandurah one was about half the size. That was all gated off, and they had security guards 24/7 for a week up until its opening. Kids wanted to fuck with it that bad.
Yeah.
Right? And then when it opened, like, I was doing heaps of blading at the time, and I wanted to go blade it, but unfortunately I'm fucking terrible on a skate park, so I wanted to be there while no one else was there, or like at least not any girls.
Yeah.
And that just didn't happen.
Too busy.
For months and months. Like, every time I went there was people there. It's just like, and like, I mean, like, early in the morning, afternoon, weekday, fucking weekend, whatever you want, it was always busy. Dude, you watch. That's what Bunbury is going to be from now for the next fucking 2 years. There's always going to be someone at that skate park.
Yeah, it's sick too. It's like good, like taxpayers' money put to a good.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Really?
Dude, usable shit. Like, compared to the fucking 5-story bullshit offices they're putting where the Sterling Centre used to be that none of us are ever going to use. That's all commercial offices.
It's all like Centrelink call centre and stuff going in.
Yeah.
Which is good for them because they can work across the road from the pub, you know.
Oh, yeah, naturally.
Yeah, not bad.
I thought you were going to say give them better fucking office spaces to facilitate how they're going to give our money away.
I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Yeah.
It's just the works in the call centre, but it's good to hear, like, you hear about the stories, man. It sounds like a pretty demanding job. Like, I know for a fun fact I couldn't do it.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? But yeah, like it just seems like I won't whinge about there only being like one side of street lights on my road because they're building a cool fucking skate park in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, but if it was just going towards bullshit, I was like, well, where's my hand at, man? Like pothole in the front of my house, like.
Yeah, dude. There's this pothole out the back of fucking Mercedes, dude. That if you hit on a road bike, like a road push bike, it'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
Like if you're on a fixie or something, I hit it on my mountain bike the other day because it was raining and it like had a puddle over it. And I'm like,
I can nuke that.
I can fucking ruin this thing, you know. And I couldn't. Was the lesson that I learned. It fucking hurt me, dude, because I'm on a hardtail and I've like gone to wheelie over it and I've sunk into it and come out. That's been like that for like 6 months. Like, what the fuck?
It's like almost worth just fixing it yourself.
I know.
Yeah.
And I would.
Wouldn't take long.
Fuck, that'd be a good kick-ons mission, eh?
So, alright, boys, back to my place. Everyone get the shovels, get the tar. We're fixing the fucking pothole.
Oh, can I borrow some shoes? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, nah. Nah, should have worn better ones to start with, you fucking idiot.
Oh, man, that was like wearing shorts out into town the other night. Fuck me, I got about... I think leaving Lost Bills and going to Fitzy's, I was just immediately like, holy fuck, man. This is a cold I wasn't anticipating.
Well, I was going to wear shorts as well. I was talking to Josh. He's like, come pick me up.
Yeah.
What are you wearing? And I was like, just like shorts. And he was like, shorts? I was like, this motherfucker's wearing shorts, bro. Like, it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
Put some black jeans on. I'm wearing black jeans. We'll sync up. I was like, oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, black skinny leg jeans are a fucking curse, man. Once you start wearing them, like, I haven't stopped in like...
That's all I can wear, man, because I got massive fucking calves and I got no fucking ass. It's the only way I can get the pants to stay on my legs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm the other way around. I got that bubble butt.
You got bunda.
I got the real thick uppers as well, and then my calves are just my calves. So it's kind of a curse. Sorry, not a curse. It's kind of a fucking crime to not wear black skinny leg jeans at some point.
Got a lot flown today.
Dude, if I was wearing straight blue leg jeans, I'm wasting everyone's time.
Look straight past you, hey?
Yeah,
that's
dude.
the fucking point.
I blend into the furniture. But no, it's like now that I've like started wearing them as an 18-year-old wearing Harleys, now I'm a fucking almost 30-year-old businessman who like if it's not skinny leg jeans, it's like the skinny leg shorts.
Yeah, I know
you
what
know?
you're saying.
Dude.
Well, I'm at a point now where I don't fuck with the cold anymore, man. I don't give a fuck. Like back, I was like I used to be fat, obviously, but even like when I lost a bit of weight in high school, I was like, yeah, like I would just spend like my shirt and my shorts in the middle of winter. I'm like, it's not even that cold.
It is fine.
And now I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, you were cold then, you're fucking cold now. Like, I'm chilled to my fucking core, man. If I'm going out and I know I'm going out for a big night on the piss, and I'm wearing I'll wear skinny leg jeans, I'm wearing thermals underneath, motherfucker.
Really?
No shame, bro. And I'll tell cunts as well. I'll wear ripped jeans with fucking thermals on. I'm like, what's that? It's like, they're my thermals. I don't want to get cold. Motherfucker.
That's so good.
I'm not lying anymore. I got no one to impress anymore, you know? Like, if I'm cold, I'm fucking cold, and I don't want to be cold.
That's true. I'm always scared that I'm going to go out and find hell good drugs and I'm going to be too hot. I bet on the side of finding good drugs in Bunbury, which is my own fault when you think about it. What do you think, you're going to find some ketamine or something?
Yeah,
son?
no, you're fucking dreaming, mate.
Oh, shit.
I made a massive mistake here. I didn't switch the batteries out to my vape before I come in.
Yeah, I must admit, I think even starting on that vape was a mistake. I just fucking got myself all pepped up on nicotine. Now I'm going to spend the rest of the day with half a fat, just fucking wandering around the house by myself, you know?
Well, we'll just rub it in, you know?
Probably going to do that anyway.
Well, no, so like, because I'm living alone now and stuff, like a single man, like my libido is like spiking way up, like
yeah.
for me, and man, I'm at a point now, like in my prime, like testosterone wise, like 20, what am I, 24 next week or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, man, like I'll be washing the dishes. I'm washing the dishes, and my cock rubs on the bench, and like I bar up.
It's all over.
Well, I gotta stop. Like I gotta stop for an intermission. I'm like,
game over.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm like, well, I gotta go sort this out.
The problem is you wake up the next morning and you walk in the kitchen like, I was doing the dishes last night.
Yeah. Like, why is this water cold? Who's gonna finish these fucking dishes? But
dude, it's such a crazy thing because like I've had some periods in my life where I've been in like relationships that have been from a week to fucking years long. And like spent periods of my life as a 20-something-year-old single, different stages, and it's just unfair, you know what I mean? Because like while you're single, you're just like, oh, I'd fuck a Gatorade bottle, you know what I mean? Like whatever it takes. And then when you're in a relationship where you're like, this is awesome, I've got the partner part sorted out. You know, there's no doubt whether they're like, you know, if I get this person pregnant, I'm not upset. I'm not going to catch anything off them. There's no weird emotional baggage. They don't have a kid that comes along with them or anything.
yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, you know, fucking, you know, anywhere between once and 5-6 times a week is good, and you're like, well, why couldn't I have the single man libido right now? You know what I mean?
So I could go like 2 or 3. No, I'm not gonna gas myself up. 2 or 3 times.
Nah,
2 or 3
dude.
rounds. Like I'm a one show pony. You know.
No. I feel you, but I feel you. It's crazy that like, I know the accuracy of that statement, and it's crazy that it's even like accurate for the majority of guys.
It's like you only want to fuck when you can't fuck, bro.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
When it's there all the time on a platter. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, I could, but at the same time, I could just get 8 hours of sleep and not wake up a sweat before I go to bed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like
just not wake up smelling different, you know?
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to fucking deal with that. I got like have sex before you go to work, wake up the next morning, go for your first morning piss. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah, why does it smell like that?
You know, it's interesting. I've always thought about. I heard this awesome analogy where, like, say I become. Oh no! Now that I'm going to say the analogy, anyone going back will figure out what I'm about to say.
All right.
Okay. No. So you kind of want like, you take like the nerdy dude who like went his whole high school life like maybe accidentally fucked one chick and she was ugly, but then he develops an app and he becomes like a multi-billionaire. Then he's getting all this pussy thrown at him, you know, because like chicks are attracted to money or whatever. But he doesn't really know how to navigate. Like he's fucking them and he's having fun and he's spending money on bottle service, but he doesn't really know how to navigate it because he's never like had pussy sort of thing. And then you've got like the guy who like, you know, he fucked around, he did his thing, he found out his worth and his value and he used it to his advantage and he did what he did, you know. And then he makes heaps of money and then heaps of girls are throwing themselves at him. He knows how to facilitate that experience better than the nerd does.
He's like a natural bed womanizer sort of thing, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
well, he's just like he's got that skill honed in. You know what I mean? Like he's exercised that muscle before he fucking showed up to the competition sort of thing.
So it's like you're already in deep enough so you don't have to worry about getting burned.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, again, going back to what we started with, you know what red flags you're looking out for, you know how to navigate coming up, you know, these particular situations. Like if you're in a situation you don't like, you know how to get out of that.
Well, it's just being able to say no.
Yeah.
I think massive as well, like, because it's such a rare thing to find someone that you not only like, but they like you as well. And it's even more, like, you can be attracted to someone, they can be attracted to you, and there's still, like, no flair. Sometimes you click with someone really good. And then once you find that connection, and I think it's really difficult for you after you've found that sort of connection to look at a red flag, and then you weigh up the options.
Yeah.
You weigh up these sort of options there. It's like, well, this isn't fantastic, but at the same time, like, this is. So it's like, you'll, like, look over X amount of red flags, and then at a certain point, you've let enough shit slide, you're in too deep, you can't back out.
Yeah. Well, it seems more and more impossible that you can back out.
Yeah.
That's such, like, that framework that you just highlighted there, I think is accurate for everyone. And no one wants to admit it.
No. Well, like, who wants to admit that they're, you know, like, oh, I'm scared of my missus? Like.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And it's like, sometimes I feel like it's not even scared of their missus, they're scared of the situation that they're in.
I don't want to make people sad, man. Like, you know, that's the hard. Like, I don't want to make people upset.
Yeah, that's true.
So you let shit slide.
And especially, I don't want to make people upset at the cost of me deciding what I want.
Yeah, like how selfish am I for benefiting off someone else's grief?
That's right. And absolutely. I think, like, this ties into what I was saying with these situations that I've had in business lately, where now I've had to make other people uncomfortable because I'm very sure about what I'm comfortable with.
So like, you don't have to, like, you've made it. Well, not made it, but you're on your way up, so you're at a point now where you can make these decisions.
Yeah, and I feel like even if you cross-relate that to what we're talking about as a person, I mean, you fuck enough girls, you get to a point where you're like, no, I've fucked enough girls. I know what I want to spend the rest of my life.
Stop being picky now, you know.
Yeah. And, like, to be very, like, transparent with the situation I had with Larissa, I was 100% upfront about everything that I wanted from the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, and her and I both started on the guys were like, yeah, we met each other on Tinder.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Well, some people are embarrassed by that as well, though. Men on a dating app sort of thing.
Dude, what are you embarrassed about?
Well,
like, do you know?
How else are you supposed to meet people, man?
Our parents met each other at the pub because that was the option.
Yeah.
We met each other on Tinder because that was the option. It's just
sometimes it just works, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Sometimes it just fucking works, and sometimes it doesn't as well.
Yeah, and I think the thing to realise is most of the time it doesn't.
Well, that's because, like, if you want to talk about Tinder and dating apps, like, in general, it's because it is a bit of a trap, because it's if you have infinite options.
Yeah.
It's infinite. So, like, you get you can bag a good one. You can bag someone who ticks all your boxes. You know, like, they're perfect for you. You click and all that sort of jazz. But then you'll always be stuck thinking, like, if I had just done a couple more swipes, found someone better. You always want something more, and that's like, because like you said before as well, like, capitalistic pigs, we're all consumers, bro. Like, we always want more. What's better? What's newer? What's fresher?
The next
so, like,
thing? Yeah,
and that can be a trap. There, it's like, I found him on Tinder. Why can't I find? If I can find this on that, why can't I find something better on that as well?
Yeah. I think there's a certain amount of self-exploration that ties into the conversation we're having, though, because I feel like that next, what's better, like, I have that really well geared into my business. So, like, every time I do something and execute a project, like, you know, this winter range or this particular shirt or this idea or this concept or this event, once I get to the end of it, I'm like, well, if I was to do this again with the information I have, how would I do it better? So one thing that I found with, like, through the fucking hundreds, maybe even thousands of girls that I dated in my younger year.
Stud.
But no, through the females that I had any sort of, you know, connection with, whether it was just, you know, friends right the way through to, like, having relationships, I was always going like, right, well, that relationship had this and this really good, and I really love that, but it had this that was really bad. So the next time I went to the next chick, I know it sounds terrible, but when I went to the next person, had that next experience, I was really aware of, like, oh, do you have these things that I like? Do you have these things that I don't like?
You're more alert. You learn more about yourself.
That's right.
That's like dating through experience.
Right.
Learning what you want through experience.
And I think the problem is, this illusion that's created by social media is that the next thing will be the total package. But the total package is actually two people who have enough in common to build a package.
And want to build it.
You're never going to find some chick that agrees with you on everything, that fucking does everything that you think a woman should do.
No
or whatever.
Fucking way, man. There's no way. Like, we're built different, like men and women, just two complete, total opposites.
And there is much of it. I know this sounds crazy, I'm saying it out loud, but, like, I have to remind myself of this because I'm only human and I'm progressing and I'm getting better as I get older. But women are as important to themselves as we are to us.
Yeah. Like,
I have to remind myself about that with other men, I should say. You know, like, everyone is as important to themselves as we are to them. But especially with women, like, I feel like I have to remind myself, like, Riz brings the exact same amount of, like, energy and, like, lust for everything that I do. So to think that she's going to be some perfect puzzle piece for me to fit into is naive. You know what I mean? It's like, this is actually just two puzzle pieces that maybe kind of fit getting close to one another and figuring out all the gaps in between together. So that idea of like, oh, what if the next swipe, that's bitch thinking. That's amateur shit.
You're over that?
Yeah, for
that,
sure.
Well, when you become like more self-aware, self-development and stuff, that's where, because you shouldn't think of it as two puzzle pieces trying to join together. Think of it as two different pieces of fabric being stitched together.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean? Like, that's a way better analogy.
It fucking is, 100%. Yeah, your analogies are always wild. Everybody knows that.
Gotta be good at something, you know what I mean?
But yeah, it's such a wild thing as well, because I feel like a lot of the times, if we go back a conversation, I know, like, especially girls, that, you know, they get together and they have their little bitching sessions about like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this, about like their boyfriends or what's going on.
Other women.
Yeah, and then I feel like there's been a swap in men and women over the past like 5 years. I feel like men used to try to be the key that unlocks all of the women, and women used to be the emotional ones trying to look for a family.
It is an absolute total switch of power.
Now it's men looking for families, looking for security and solidarity within a relationship, and now women are just, and this is a gross general assumption, I know, this is just what I've anecdotally seen. Yeah. But women want to fuck.
Well, yeah, they don't even want to fuck, they just, like, women just want to be, they just want to, like, as an overarching thing, like, they want to be able to manipulate men. You know? Yeah. Like, they have them under their thumb. And it's our fault as men as well for letting them do that to us. Like, don't be like, it's the whole like beta cuck shit, like simp, all that sort of garbage. Yeah. Like, it's 100% true, because it's so easy, because fellas just want love. Yeah. You know, and women just want to exploit that. I think when you look at it though, like, I really, I have a like strong belief within myself, and I realize this about myself. I don't know where it comes from, but like, I need to be proved through my output. Okay. So I'm very much so, like, I've always had it in my mind that I want to be, and like, whether or not I'm accurate in this, but I've always thought I want to be the total package. I want to be the guy that she brags about. I want to be a fucking trophy for someone. But I have to prove that every fucking day. Well, do you prove it to yourself, or do you prove it?
Oh no, prove it to me. Yeah. And that makes me attractive to other people. I know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's on, man. That is the right mentality to have. That's a strength. Not that you can build your own mindset, but that's such a powerful, like, opinion to have. It's like, oh, I'm good enough for me. That's right. Yeah. That's right. I impress me. I surprise me. I'm challenging me, I'm educating me, I'm the one who gets the results of that, and also a byproduct of that is being extremely attractive to people who are paying attention, whether they're the opposite sex or the same sex, they want to sleep with you, it doesn't matter. Just unapologetically characteristic. That's right. Well, yeah, like unapologetically accidentally. Yeah, just trying to be your own person. That's right. Now, I feel like the result of that, being loved for whatever reason, let's call them the right reason for the sake of this conversation, men want that. And men see that they can achieve that same result through through compliance and through acceptance of, like, you're better than me. Yeah. So if they know, if women feel like, yeah, I have the upper hand here, I have the control, I know this is like blowing out. Yeah, we're obviously over exaggerating. Yeah, conversation. But if I have that cloud of, like, I'm the one who calls the shots, I control the money, I control the food, I control this, I control that, and men are like, yeah, you control everything, all good. Because like, men know that they have options, and so they feel like they have to conform to be the one that they need to be chosen. Right. You know what I'm saying? So in this circumstance, now we're just seeing the pendulum swing because of something like that happening, and the result is that you go out and have a conversation, with a random chick at Fitzy's, and she's and you're like, bitch, who the fuck are you? Yeah, well, I'm just trying to learn who you are. So get off your fucking horse, dude. Man. I just want to borrow your fucking lighter, and I didn't want to open with that. Let me hit the vape. God, unreal, dude. But it's sort of like they've spent all this time fighting for equality, and I'm not sexist or prejudiced, or maybe a little bit, but not like extreme or anything. And I'm all about equality. Like, if you want to be the same as me, I'm not going to say like if I should be able to punch you in the face, because that's garbage. That's just bullshit. Like, you should still be a gentleman, hold the doors for the women, and do all that sort of shit. But they've spent all this time wanting to be the same as us, like on the same page as us, and they had that, and then now it's like they want more. And now I think a lot of men were intimidated by not having the power over and having to be equal. That's sort of like, so if you like think of like two tectonic plates, man, like they've pressed against each other, men and women, and then eventually men have come under and the women have gone up to form this mountain. So they're up here and we've been pushed down here, but will we let that happen? Like, we should just be holding it as equal, like as the same. I think in this circumstance you have to ask, what do women want? You know, because like when Riz and I cut all the shit, and like
it's hard to have this conversation because you both have to come to a situation where like you just going like, I understand there's things happening in society, I understand there's things happening in my mind, and then I understand there's things happening between us as a couple. And I think when we have these conversations, what I take away from it is that there are particular gender roles that are written in concrete and have been for a long time, and as much as they might seem sexist or as much as they might not seem like they're the politically correct thing, they just fucking work.
Yeah.
And like, I know Riz goes above and beyond to provide as much as she can for me while I'm in this weird period of trying to build whatever the fuck Black Ink is to give me the best possible opportunity, because there is something in there that we know that men can build empires. Women probably can too, but we know that men can build empires. And that's what I'm trying to do. And she goes, right, if that takes me cooking dinner every night and, you know, fucking buying the shopping when I have to and helping out with rent when I have to and doing this and doing that, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because I believe in what you're doing is a part of what we're doing, and there's a purpose there.
Well, it's not even saying that there's like a man and woman, like you're doing that because you're a man and she's doing it because you're a woman. I feel like that would be that's just a relationship thing, man. Like it would be if she had this massive business idea and she was doing this for her, you do the
I'd send it. I would send it. Yeah.
So it's not even like a social sexist norm for that to be the way to go. It's just sort of like that's just your relationship.
In this particular circumstance, it is that she's doing the female gender roles and I'm doing the male gender roles.
It's just how it's panned out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But with that said, I do the washing better. She's probably about on par with the dishes, but you know, like I do wash clothes
Separate
better.
the whites and blacks.
Naturally, bro. Before they even get into the laundry basket, like I'm not a fucking animal.
I've come so far, like just the last probably like 6 months being alone, like progressively learning, like separate your blacks and your whites, and like washing the outside of the bowl. Like when you eat something, sometimes you get stuff on the outside.
Yeah.
So you got to wash that shit as well.
It's crazy, man. You know, there's actually levels to that. So you get to the point where you're washing all of the dishes on every side of them, and then at the end of the job, you'll actually wash the inside of the sink as well.
No, that's crazy. Too.
I know.
I'm not there yet, man. I'm not there yet.
Another couple of years, man. I'll fucking show you some shit that'll change your life. You know what I mean?
When you hit 30, bro, woo!
It's all different.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Rightio, well, I think we've covered all the main topics that we have to. I'd like to thank you all for joining. If you'd like to follow Gage at all, your handle is
Gage Edgecombe
on Instagram
or Based Beans on Fortnite.
Oh shit!
Let's go crank some 90s.
Thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Have a lovely time and be good to your mum, because we're fucking out. Yo!